Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, fellow Nuffield scholars. It really is a privilege to be stood here today to present my findings throughout my travels over the last 18 months. But first of all, I'd just like to extend my gratitude and sincere thanks to the Nuffield Farming Scholarships Trust and to the Central Region Farmers Trust for their generosity and support for this amazing opportunity. I'd also like to thank my mentor over the last 12 months, Alan Beckett, for his wise words of wisdom before and after my travels to ensure that I optimised all of my study tours. And most importantly, to the business at home, my family and my wife Grace, who have put up with me for the last 18 months and supported the business back at home. Most importantly to my wife Grace, 3 weeks after giving birth to our son Joseph, I departed to Australia with no complaints. So 2050, this has been marked as a big year. Global population growth of over 9 billion people. And currently in the UK, we produce an affordable, versatile and healthy protein. But what challenges will face us going forward? Over the last 18 months, I visited the United States, New Zealand, Australia, Holland and Hungary. And I've examined new and innovative farming systems that are being used on a commercial scale. Genetics, how they have helped us and how they will help us going forward. Consumers and retailers, their perceptions that will drive and shape the chicken on the shelf in the future. And people, the most important asset, and what are businesses and farmers alike doing to recruit and retain new entrants. Genetics. The question is, what will the fourth chicken be on this picture? Will it be a 2-kilo chicken grown in 25 days? Or will it be a slower growing concept that supports a niche at the moment here in the market? Or will it be a mass market that we will have to produce for? Ultimately, I've spent time with both Hubbard, Avian and Cobb, the 3 major breed companies. And I would say, simply, the growth in the market has got to be to supply an affordable and efficient protein. However, will the consumer come with us? Will they embrace that change and that genetic potential? I believe yes, but ultimately we must ensure we maintain and improve welfare traits at all times, because ultimately that is paramount to us as farmers and to the consumer. Avian influenza, also known as bird flu, this is the single biggest threat to us as poultry farmers sat in the room today. On a trip to the United States, I was very fortunate to meet businesses and farmers alike that had just witnessed one of the most devastating outbreaks that country had ever seen. 50 million layers and turkeys predominantly had been slaughtered as a result of this outbreak. And a gentleman one evening over dinner said to me that actually the reason this outbreak spread so quickly was due to a breakdown in biosecurity and poor contingency planning. Now, the other extreme is the picture you see here on the slide, is a broiler breeder farm producing hatching eggs for a hatchery in the North Island. And this is 20 kilometres away from the nearest poultry farm. Now, historically in the UK, there are poultry farms situated very, very densely and close to one another. But I believe we must look at mechanisms in the planning process to ensure that we do not irresponsibly build new poultry farms that are situated near existing ones, because this will put the new facilities at risk, the existing facilities at risk, and the industry's risk and status if there was a disease outbreak. Farming systems and innovation. In a normal hatching process, chicks hatch out over a 36-hour period, and the yolk sac that chick has keeps it alive 2 days post-hatch. The pictures you see here are promoting what they call an early feed and water system. The picture on the left is the extract system, whereby chicks have access to feed and water from the very moment they are born, but they are born in the shed. The picture on the right is a hatch care system developed by HatchTech, and this system implements feed and water in the hatching environment. Now, both these systems promote benefits of improved feed conversion, better livability, and more importantly, reduced antibiotics and reduced stress. But I believe going forward, these systems aren't necessarily going to be the answer and used on a commercial scale, but we must challenge ourselves to think about the hatch window, the time it takes for the chicks to hatch, minimising stress and getting those chicks to farm as soon as possible to optimise broiler performance. Antibiotics. This is a big buzzword on a global scale and will affect many sectors, not just poultry. When I was in the United States, big integrators such as Purdue, Pilgrims, Tyson are all out there marketing and branding antibiotic-free products. No antibiotics ever. And they really have taken drastic and robust steps to take antibiotics out of the supply chain. Now, I think we can learn lessons here in the UK, but honestly, my message is that we must have antibiotics in our armoury to ensure that we can maintain the bird's welfare at all times, because that ultimately is paramount, as I said before, to us as farmers and consumers. But we must ensure that we educate the consumers about why we need them. I was fortunate enough to spend some time in Holland with several different industry businesses and farmers, and there was an issue about 4 years ago where a small welfare group known as Wakadier, consisting of just 9 people, they went on an aggressive marketing campaign on Facebook, YouTube, the TV, the radio, billboard campaigns to discredit what they perceived as the bad name that the current broiler industry was growing chickens to, the standards they were growing to. And they called the chicken the Plofkip chicken, which means the exploding chicken. And this became the word of the year in 2012. And as a result, the Dutch industry now produces what they call the chicken of tomorrow, a slower growing concept, which now makes up 95% of the Dutch market. Now, I'm not saying that this concept will necessarily take on here in the UK, but what we must understand here is the power of what such a small group of influencers can have in restructuring the whole industry. And I think our challenge, not just in our industry but other sectors, is to actually work with these people and collaborate with them and understand who are they representing, what do they stand for, and what can we do to help communicate their message through telling a story. I believe there are farmers out there that we can champion within our poultry sector to tell a good story about the standards, which I believe are some of the best in the world, of growing standards to the red tractor standard of high quality, high welfare British chicken. People. These are the most important asset, not to us in the poultry sector, but right across the agriculture supply chain. We can have the genetics, we can adapt and have the new innovation and technologies that are available to us, and we can build farms. But honestly, what we need really, and more importantly, is people. These is what keeps everything moving. These are the people that drive change. These are the people that come up with new ideas. And I found very few successful strategies that were being undertaken to recruit and retain new entrants. Apart from one, in the United States, there are 6 universities offering poultry science right across the country. And the universities, the industry, and the high schools worked in collaboration to actually provide a supply chain of people. The universities and the colleges got to the grassroots and used the industry experts to promote the good news story that they had, to offer what is an exciting career. And a slight challenge for us going forward is we do have a placement scheme currently as an industry with Harper Adams University, but we must get out there to the wider audience to recruit and retain new entrants. And with current Brexit policies potentially restricting our access to people, my message to people of influence in the audience is we must have access to people who are skilled labour that make up some 90% of the people in some of the food factories, including chicken processing facilities here in the UK. Ultimately, challenges really do create opportunities. And since carrying out my Nuffield, we at home have listened and understood about what's going on across the world. And my travels have been very, very useful to what's been happening at home. We've seen what's happening in the US. The retailers and the consumers have put pressure on the industry to take antibiotics out. We've actually taken therapeutic antibiotic treatment from 80% of our birds being treated to just 10% since May this year. And we've actually gone and told our customers and major retailers what we're doing. And I think we need to replicate that model across other things, including welfare. We are the experts, irrespective of our sectors, and we should be telling our customers and consumers what we can do to help us as farmers and also benefit, more importantly, the consumers. And I think, in essence, sometimes, in order to move forward, it is important to look back. We at the poultry sector have been producing chicken for over 60 years, and I believe that's because we've been customer-focused, unsubsidised, adaptable in our approach, and flexible. And I truly and honestly believe that if we tackle all the challenges that I've just discussed today head on, we embrace them, we maintain contact with our customers, and we try and engage further with our consumers, because ultimately these people are buying our chicken going forward. We really must do that, and we must not underestimate it, and we cannot be complacent. But I honestly believe that if we major on these strengths going forward, and with Brexit on the horizon, I believe there is a massive opportunity for our industry and other sectors to promote what I believe is great British chicken, is reared to the highest standards in the world, and I know that because I've seen a lot over the last 18 months. But we must go out there, communicate that message effectively, because I believe our sector has a bright future. Thank you.